What's going on, nation? We are Nation's Corner. I am your host, Tony Justice. And I've got with me tonight the one, the only Debhausen. How are you doing, Deb?
I'm great. I think Mongrovian's camera attacked him again.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I have cat-like reflexes to let
Listen,
him
you
in at the last second.
okay?
Yeah, you gotta get your shit under control over there.
Get your shit together.
Get your stuff together. I'm telling you this. And there's Mongrovian Mike.
Here we go.
How you
All
doing,
right.
How you doing?
Good, man. Good. So we are congregated here tonight for a very special interview with the Red Right Hand Megan Mason, and I'm going to hand the ball over to Mongrovian Mike and let Mongrovian Mike and Debhausen hand this one off. So y'all take it away.
All right, this sounds awesome. I just want to introduce you to the Red Right Hand, the Face Breaker, Megan Mason. She's a VPW star. That's Victory Pro Wrestling. She's dabbled with Creator Pro. Here she is, Megan. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
All right. Happy election
Fantastic.
day. We're here with Debhausen. We have the female representation here, and we have the Mongrovian representation here, and we have the badass face breaker representation here. How you doing, kid?
I'm doing good. I got some brawling in earlier this morning. I was at Sarah BJJ over in Huntington, Long Island. Got my 7 a.m. jiu-jitsu class in. My camera's doing weird stuff right now.
It's all right. Cameras do weird stuff, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, got a nice workout in early in the morning and just got out of work. So doing good.
Sweet.
Awesome job. Awesome job. All right. So the first time I saw you was at, I don't remember what show it was. It was a VPW show at St. James. I believe it was the first or second show they had there that John put on there. And I bought a shirt because I saw you kicking the commissioner's ass. You got a problem with that commissioner. What's his name?
Gosh, I only know what he used to go by, so I can't say it.
Okay, we can't go by his real name.
I can't say formally known as
the shoot name. Yeah. Well, anyway, he got a beating, so he even lost his name in that fight. Okay, good deal.
Yeah, I just beat people so senseless that they just lose their name suddenly.
Exactly. You're big into. Let's just cover it. We'll get into the different wrestling promotions that you wrestle for. I know you wrestle for more than VPW. Let's hear what other promotions that you wrestle for.
So I started with Fight the World. I've done NYWC shows. I've done Creator Pro. That's my cat. I've done. Yeah, I love home interviews because of this cat. I love working with Combat Zone. I was able to work with their women's promotion, WSU, for about a year there when they were still running those shows. I've done Dropkick Depression tapings. I've done, Cage Fight Unlimited. That's a great promotion that I'm looking forward to going back to now that I have my BJJ knowledge, because that's all about like the MMA, the BJJ type of style. I'm trying to get into H2O. I've had a lot of talks with them about possibly working together in the future. I'm probably missing some here and there. I've worked with Sean Henderson Presents. Those are great shows that he puts on. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Well, Deb, do you have any questions about?
Well, so when Mongrovian first told me that we were going to be interviewing you, of course, I had to look you up because I'm not too familiar with the Long Island scene. I'm out here near Allentown, PA. So obviously, the first thing I noticed about you is the deathmatch style. You love the violence and all that, which is exactly why I can tell that Mongrovian likes you, because that's right up his alley. in fact, there's always kind of conversations in the wrestling communities about the use of blood on like WWE and AEW and all that. And Mongrovian is always the one going, let them bleed. Just let them bleed. So I just wanted to know, what drew you to that style in the first place? What made you love that, the violence and the blood and all that?
It really started like with not even the more hardcore stuff, but like TLC matches and the cage matches in WWE, and specifically like who was doing them so great at the time was Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose, whatever you want to call him.
Yes.
They had a series of matches for the world title between him and Seth Rollins, and there was a ladder match. There was, before that there was the cage match that was like their grudge match. And that kind of really drew me in. Their storylines together were always fiery hot. And they always used those tools to tell a story, which I really admired. And then even just that segueing from that, I learned about, John's indie background and combat zone wrestling, and that whole thing opened up, and I was like really intrigued by that different style that, isn't on TV. So that's kind of what opened the door for me, and, led to me working with Combat Zone and, learning about independent wrestling and, all that stuff.
Okay. I don't know if since you're obviously a big Moxley Ambrose fan, which I am as well. I believe Dean Ambrose was the first wrestling t-shirt ever purchased, if I remember. I don't know if you've read his book. I highly recommend getting his book on audiobook if you haven't, because it's in his voice.
I actually had to do it audiobook because I had a really severe concussion thanks to Candy Cartwright. So since then, reading is a little bit rough sometimes with my attention span and everything. So I got the audiobook, and it was like my commuter audiobook, and it is a great read. And it's just really good that he actually took the time to narrate it.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I tell everybody, is just hearing it in his voice makes it so much better and helps you understand the stories more, because it's just like one of those kind of table for three things where you're just sitting there listening to him tell stories. But the reason I brought it up is, the part in it where he kind of talks about how he loves the smell of the blood, the drips on the mat, just for whatever reason, he's drawn to that. And for me as a fan, I don't know why I'm kind of drawn to that style too, that I like the more violent side of wrestling for whatever reason as a fan. So it's interesting to me to hear the perspective from a wrestler as to why, you really prefer that style.
Yeah. For me, it's always how you're telling the story and what the art has to tell you. And one of the things that people don't understand about deathmatch wrestling is the story of deathmatch wrestling is who can stand the test of these weapons. These are extreme things that you're putting your body through, and who can withstand that and come out the other side, So, some of the things that deathmatch wrestlers do, it would be a one-shot done for another wrestler or another person. And yet they're doing whole matches where they're doing multiple things, and their bodies are on the line. So it's just another perspective of the same story that regular wrestling tells, which is, sorry about the background noise.
That's okay.
Which is that, sorry, my roommate's watching hockey. As you can tell, which is that, we all put our bodies on the line for this art form, for, the stories and our reasoning in the ring. So that's what I love about deathmatch and regular wrestling too.
Right. Awesome. Mongrovian?
A great deathmatch is going to tell you a good story. Otherwise, it's just, like, people on the outside might look at it and think it's just violence for the sake of violence, but there's a meaning behind it all. It's not all. It's the build up to that, to what happens to the blood, and then once the blood starts pouring, you can't control it. But it's a story, and all the registering and selling, and and that, you know, I mean, I tend to defy anybody. Just watch Onita versus Funk. I mean, you know, watch any of the Funk Cactus Jack matches, and you know, it's just amazing, and those are all real stories. So it's just a great form. And hey, you know what? You have some built up, pent up aggression. What a way to take it out by breaking someone's face, throwing a right hand and drawing back a red right hand, right?
Exactly.
There you go.
So yeah, you're into the intergender matches. You know, a lot. Our whole group runs the gamut. We go. We. If you poll us all, we like every form of wrestling. We find enjoyment out of it all. And intergender wrestling is something that us as a group we really enjoy a lot. And if it tells a good story and is believable, like you kicking the crap out of like Evil Kip, you know, that is so believable. And then him cheating, being a shit-faced heel.
Yeah.
But you were beating the crap out of him. Tell us a little about intergender. And before that, VPW Gold, the Gold Rush Rumble. I was so psyched when I saw you enter, and I'm like, okay, she's going to team up with Cade, because there's something going on with Cade and Foxy and Mouse, but we'll get to that later. He threw you in the corner, and he gave you a chop. Megan, you know where I was sitting that night. I was all the way back by the door, by the exit door.
Yeah.
He gave you that chop, and oh my God, my ears popped. I was like, whoa.
Mine did too.
I'm sure you did, but you stood your ground and you eliminated somebody. He eliminated a couple, but unfortunately you didn't win that. And the crazy guy who says he's not crazy won it. But that's another story. Tell us about intergender and your love of intergender matches.
Really, my love of intergender just came naturally. I've never discriminated against people when it comes to give me a fight. You know, I don't want to limit myself to I'm just gonna fight this person, I'm just gonna fight this person, and I'm not gonna fight anybody else. Like, for me, it's if there's a fight in it, if there's a fighting chance in it, I'm in. I want to see who's better. I want to see who's more competitive. I want to see who's edgier. I want to see what, you know, me and this other person can do, or even, you know, like the Gold Rush Rumble, what me and a ton of other people can do when we're mixed together. So it was something that, you know, especially some of these schools, you know, there's not a lot of women that sign up for wrestling school. So a lot of the times I was the only girl at training that night. You know, a lot of times I was the only girl in a locker room at times. And, you know, I'm not going to sit in the back waiting for a girl to show up. I'm going to get in the ring. So that's just kind of how that came on.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're around someone like, you know, Pretty Boy Johnny Collins or something, you want to smack the guy around. If he walks past, you want to grab him in a headlock, right? You
can see the highlights on of me versus Johnny Collins. They're everywhere.
I actually watched a couple of the cap matches, actually. Ariella Nix and Pretty Boy Johnny Collins, they came out as Johnny Ella.
Yes, Johnny Ella.
Versus you and the mighty Slade, the silent
my one-time team partner Slade.
Oh boy!
Now killing it everywhere he goes,
isn't he? I know.
I mean, and how could he not? That guy is a beast.
For a guy of very little words. I mean, he just walks in, gets in the ring, he kills you, and then leaves. That's it. Yeah. And also during the match, I was noticing that it was Evil Kip and Max Caster calling the matches.
Yeah,
with you. So I was popping. I'm going, wow, this is so cool. Like, you know, how proud of you of like Max Caster. Like how.
I mean, like, Max and I, like, crazy thing is that he's one of the trainers at Creative Pro, or at least he was prior to being signed. And I've had times, you know, like during the pandemic where it's just me and him wrestling for like 4 hours. And he's, you know, I really appreciate all the time that he spends at Creative Pro, because like when he would train class, it wouldn't just start when class started. He'd be in the ring before and he'd say, all right, who wants to get in here with me? Who wants to do a match? You know, and he's one of those guys, he's the first one in the building, last one to leave. He's always learning. He's always teaching. He's always doing. So to see him get signed was like, of course he's getting signed. You know, it
Yeah.
just needed the right person to see him and realize this guy is gold. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's like in the water or
things
something
about
there at
him.
Creator Pro, isn't it?
Huh?
It really is. It's like what is in the air that they're breathing there at Creator Pro. Like
what it is trainers like him, you know, like they're so detail oriented there. Like I've been to a few schools in my time, and Creator Pro, it's details, details, details. If you do it okay, you're gonna do it great again, you know. So
Yeah.
and it's trainers like Max, you know, like all the trainers at Creator Pro, they're the first ones in, the last ones to leave. They're always going to answer every question. They're always going to show every different position. They're always going to brush up everything until it is perfect. So it's just, that's what's in the air there. It's perfection.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that. I'll throw it to you in a second, Deb. I noticed that at Creator Pro that there's that. You know, it sounds a little cliche, but the culture in the locker room. I can't speak to in the locker room. Of course, I'm not behind the curtain, but I noticed the culture outside among the crowd when Max wrestled that night. Every wrestler was out along the back wall there, watching his match, cheering him on. There is such a love and respect, and it's between all of the wrestlers, like everybody. And same thing with VPW. It's really like a great crowds, great wrestlers. Like the show ends and you guys are folding up chairs. Like you weren't even on the show, Creator Pro. You're walking around folding up chairs, and I'm like, you know, that's what someone who wants to be in the business or someone who has respect for the business does.
Yeah,
and it's just like that. It's really good. Go ahead, Deb. You had a thought.
So yeah, about Creator Pro, it's especially obvious to me that there's that culture of, you know, doing things right in the business. You know, that we spoke to Dr. Cool recently. We've talked to Leo Sparrow, and you know, they both pretty much said the same thing. And you have MJF on national interviews saying that Creator Pro is the best wrestling school in the country outside the WWE Performance Center.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think that's very indicative of the, you know, not only the culture there, but how dedicated the trainers are. I'm a huge fan of Max Caster Mongrovian. I'll tell you, I love him.
Yeah. And
I love him.
She's injured right now, but Chris Statland is also a trainer. A trainer there, and she's, when she comes back, she's gonna be kicking some friggin' ass out there too.
She's a super athlete, Chris.
That's right.
It's unfortunate, you know, with the injuries and everything that she's had, but apart from that, I mean, you look at her indie record and you look at, you know, her work up till now. I mean, she's just a freak of nature. She is so athletic and talented.
Yeah. She'll just come, you know, before for her, you know, physical therapy, she'll come back and beat the crap out of the Even Stevens, stretch them out for a little while before she goes back.
I think that's a great use of, you know, like a warm up, you know, like, you know, she'll be beating them up one week and then she'll show back up on AEW the next week.
Yeah. That's her practice.
Yeah.
So, what show do you have coming up then?
I was supposed to be at the next VPW show, November 19th. Okay. Unfortunately, there was a scheduling thing. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm not going to be there to support my guy, Cade. I mean, he said he didn't need me, but I want to be there for him. So we'll see what happens.
Because I wanted to kind of get into that. I kind of like see this. Do I see like a kind of a faction forming around Cade and Foxy Fox? Is Foxy like maybe getting a little faction going? Maybe? Am I wrong? Am I on the right track?
I mean, as you saw at Gold Rush Rumble, Foxy wasn't there. Cade kind of told us to get lost, but I think, especially without how outnumbered he is right now, he's gonna need us. And you know, it goes back to, you know, when I was new to this business, Cade was one of the people that took me aside and said, okay, come with me to this show. Come with me to that show. And he really helped me, you know, get those miles in, you know, meet those people. watch some amazing wrestling matches. I've traveled the world with that guy. So if there's going to be a numbers game, I'm going to be in it on his side.
Okay, cool. Because on a side note, we will be interviewing Cade and Foxy in a couple of days, pre-taping another interview just like this. And they'll be probably back to back or day after, but they will coincide with each other. So I'm excited for disorderly conduct. And who knows, if you show up and wreak some havoc, and, even if you're not on the show, if you might run in and help him, who knows? If he needs help. He's a big dude. He lost a lot of weight, but he still kicks ass.
I mean, he's used to having that weight, so he still throws the same punch. He still kicks the same kick. He still chops the same, as you can tell from the videos of last month.
Exactly. He's like, oh, I can still jump off the top. Wow, I got to that top rope a little faster.
So, he's no less dangerous now that he's a little bit smaller.
Yeah. He's an imposing figure.
Yes, for sure.
So you've had what are some of the big matches that you've had? I see you've fought Gabby Ortiz. That's in let's see, where was that? That's not.
It was twice. I wrestled her at Goddesses of War, and also at BPW more recently.
Oh yes, that was in July back in Homecoming, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What other people? I mean, I see you used to be in a faction called the Endless. Is this looks like it was a couple of years ago, but this might have been, how was doing that in the earlier days a few years ago in your development? How did that help you in your development? And what organization was that with?
That was with WSU, which is Combat Zone's women's department.
Okay.
Pretty much. So, when WSU was reforming, it changed from Women Superstars Uncensored to Women Superstars United. And, the Endless was a group of, all of the edgier girls, I would say, in the locker room. We had Mother Endless, who, is still kicking ass all the time. She's she's got one of the craziest looks in the business right now. She's got face paint, she's got a mask. Nobody knows who she actually is. I don't even know who she actually is. I just know that I hear her voice sometimes. It's very creepy. But it's also great because I miss her. So, I just hear the call of the Endless and I come running. So, there was definitely like a magnetism to that faction and how we formed, and we were just there to rip heads off. We were there to find the will of Mother and make people bend to it. So, being in that group, it was definitely like a big learning experience too, because at some point, Davian was part of that group. And she was able to capture the Spirit title at WSU. And, I really learned a lot from her at that time, and I was able to work with her. One of my initiation type deals with the Endless was one of my initiations was I actually had to wrestle Davian, to just prove myself, and that was the thing. Like, I was the youngest person in that group, so it was constantly me proving myself and proving my worthiness to be in that group, and it taught me a lot.
That's pretty cool. Usually, we always seem to find that when you get these say factions, for loss of a better word, but it kind of helps you, like, because you could bounce off of somebody else, and then you're with someone like Davian who's a little bit more experienced, and it actually, you could talk things out because you're with each other backstage in the ring, and so it kind of helps you develop, and it really is a big help to a lot of people, and then it also helps you find you.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely like gone through a lot of different phases just being in that group, and then finding myself outside of that group was a big moment for me, because like I said, just the magnet pull to Mother Endless and everything. I found myself talking about her even when she wasn't there, even when, it was a show that she wasn't going to be there, or that had nothing to do with her. It was just it was just a magnet full of, okay, I need to make her happy. Okay, I'm still in this, you know. So it's taken me quite a couple of years to kind of not have quite that, not have her have all that power over me in what I do. But I mean, I definitely still hear, you know, like the endless call sometimes.
How much of your own personal journey goes into the character that you portray in the ring?
I'd say a lot of it, really. I mean, when you see how I am in the ring and I'm angry and I'm chaotic, it's because I'm excited. It's because violence makes me excited. It's because wrestling makes me excited. It's because I have a passion for what I'm doing. You know, and especially, you know, with my character in VPW, it's got a lot to do with how frustrated I've been there at times, and you know how it seems like every time I climb the top of that ladder up, there's something to push me right back down, you know. And I'm talking about the VPW Women's Championship, you know. So
Yep.
there's been a lot of times where I've been in contention for that title, or I've even had the title in my hands, and it's just, you know, something happens, somebody gets involved, you know. So a lot of that has to do with, you know,
I've been there for a couple of those times, and it's frustrating. I could tell.
Yeah. So, you know, so I'm frustrated in the ring and I'm frustrated backstage because it's like, okay, who stopped that from happening? You know, who called that match? You know, who did this? So, it was just, it's my character and me are hand in hand. You know, there is no character. I'm Megan. So,
right.
You are you. So, you have any questions there, Deb?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think we did too. But maybe one more person will get to know you, because you were really crazy in the ring when I saw you. And then when I go to buy a shirt for you that the first time, and you seemed like this little meek person, you know, like very humble and quiet, and oh, thanks, you know, and like, how much is a shirt? And I hope you have my size. I'm wearing it now.
That's merch,
Nice.
Megan. That's a different Megan. That's merch,
Oh,
Megan.
yeah.
We look very similar.
So yeah, I mean, anybody that follows you can see that you recently came out, and you embraced the community. We're a community friendly show here. We have members of the show that have family members that are gay and transitioning, and it runs the whole gamut. And even if everybody doesn't agree with things or understand things, it's just to be nice. And I like what you say in there. It wasn't about telling people that you're gay. It was just telling, you know, accepting others' journeys is what you said at the end of the thing. So speak out. Tell us how was it a weight lifted off your shoulder? I mean, it obviously didn't make you not want to break people's faces anymore. So that's a good thing.
I mean, with coming out, like, I feel like I'm always coming out and I'm never coming out at the same time. You know, I've never hidden being gay, but I also am not like going out and introducing myself. Hi, I'm Megan, I'm gay. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, every year, you know, I kind of just see all the amazing coming out stories on National Coming Out Day, and I think that's the post that you're referring to. And I just think that everybody's journey is different as a human, let alone an LGBT human. And I just love that, you know, especially on National Coming Out Day, like we can rejoice in that, okay, everybody has a different journey, but we're all here, you know?
Right.
And I've always been a big volunteer in the community. I used to volunteer for the LGBT Network of Long Island, which is a really, really great resource for people on Long Island to, you know, meet other LGBT people and also to be a part of your community. I did so much like work with homeless people and things there, and you know, with awareness for, you know, different STDs and things and outreach. So I mean, that was a great experience for me. And I just, you know, I think that maybe not everybody is able to embrace who they are all the time. You know, there's definitely situations where, you know, you might have to hide that part of yourself, but I think as long as we agree as a human species that, all right, this person's a human, let me accept that, you know, That's what I always kind of preach, is that, you know, we all got blood and skin and bones. I'm gonna try to break them regardless of what you identify as. So so we can all agree on that, you know.
Yeah, I have my little brother who's 21 years old and in college is trans, and so I've, you know, seen his journey personally. He's 12 years younger than me, so yeah, I've been there for, you know, a good chunk of the journey, seeing his growth to, you know, coming out and beginning the transition, and now being in college pretty much fully out, and, you know, being able to be himself. So it's really nice to see things like that. And, you know, for people to have the support system, I always hear of these, you know, horror stories of people who didn't have supportive parents and stuff. And, you know, I just thank God that my parents were supportive, that, you know, we knew since he was like, I don't know, 12, like we always knew. So, you know, it's really nice to hear, you know, the community outreach stuff for people who may not have that support at home.
Yeah. I mean, like, we had things in the LGBT network. It was like a questionnaire when you signed up. Okay, if we call you, are we allowed to say where we're calling from? Because some people, like, we'd have a van and they'd get picked up a couple blocks from their house and say they're going out with a friend. Things like that, you know? And it's like, maybe they didn't get that support at home, but they were able to come into the community and be with, you know, like people, and also allies. You know, the LGBT network has always been an open door for allies and LGBT people as a whole. So, you know, it's just things like that where you're able to have a safe space and be somewhere where, you know, nobody's discriminating against you, which is great.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Mongrovian?
Everybody deserves liberty. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome time talking to you, Megan. Hopefully we'll get you back again in the future. Here's the greatest truck driver in the world, Tony.
I'm back.
He might have a question or two for you before
he's got that ugly scar on his head and his pillow behind him, unfortunately.
You're lucky I love you, Deb. So anyway, Megan, I would like to say to you, you touched me with your story. You touched my heart, and I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to give you a question that's non-wrestling related, but it has something to do with your style, your deathmatch style. I listened to the whole interview, which has been great, by the way. So you're into an extreme style of wrestling. So tell me your extreme style of music. Is it match?
So my music style, I actually get made fun of about it, because very many people have made mention of me watching me wrestle. They think I'm a metalhead. I'm a very, like, subtle metalhead, but it's not all I'm listening to. Like, I guilty pleasure listen to Taylor Swift, you know, just on occasion.
I love Taylor.
The Swiftie. You know, I think that's as extreme as it gets, because you tell people you're a Taylor Swift fan, they're like, oh my God. You know,
Mongrovian makes fun of me for my love of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but
I mean, I gotta be honest though, like, I just was listening to Tegan and Sarah's new album, and that was really good. If you guys have listened to Tegan and Sarah at all, they're a really great band. They've been around for a while. Who else do I listen to? Gosh, it's a hard question. My music taste is kind of all over the place.
Hey, I'm a truck driver, as Deb pointed out, and after Busted Open, of course, it's a show we all listen to. It's a wrestling show on Sirius XM. You should check it out. But after it's over, all I'm doing is listening to music, and I've got a playlist, and it's Metallica, Pantera, Hatebreed, Acacia Strain, Despise.com, Elvis, Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson. You know, I mean, my music goes all over the place. So if anybody's gonna get made fun of, it's me.
You know, I'm a slight country fan. You know, I listen to Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen. Those are my two country guys.
Have you heard of Hardy?
Hardy? No, I don't think I have.
Check him out. He sings with Morgan Wallen sometimes. His name is Hardy. He's got a song called "Wait in the Truck." Check it out. It's pretty good.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
There we
go. Speaking of Taylor Swift, what do you think of her new album?
I honestly haven't listened to all of it, but the few songs that I listened to, what was it? Lavender Haze was like a really Jam.
That's my favorite.
That's like, it's just like poppy and fun to listen to. What's that other one where it's like I'm the problem? It's gosh.
I like
Yeah.
vigilante shit.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one.
The
Yeah,
attitude.
like, honestly, I have her stuff on a playlist with Tegan and Sarah's new album.
Okay.
And for some reason, my Spotify picks favorites, and sometimes when I play a playlist, it kind of just plays half the playlist predominantly.
It does. I've noticed that.
Yeah. So there's like parts of the playlist that I'm like, when's the last time this song played? But I've heard this other song like 3 times today.
Yeah.
Trying to get you to pay for it.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I have premium. It's part of my college account, but
it's just the shuffle isn't really shuffle.
Yeah. It's a weird shuffle. So I definitely have to give it its own time and listen to it by itself.
Yeah. I've listened to the whole album front to back like 5 times. It's great.
Yeah. I mean,
she's come a long way from Tim McGraw.
She's really good.
Well,
Tim McGraw's a great song, though. I'll give her that.
I listened to Man of War on Spotify today, so
nice.
Mongrovian is a full-on through and through metalhead till the day he dies.
Yeah,
I love metalheads. One of my best friends is a metalhead. He was very disappointed when he found out that I wasn't a full-fledged metalhead. But I'll listen to anything and put it on, to be honest.
But when you kick ass like you do, you're a metalhead in spirit, because that is metal.
That's
metal
the culture.
Metal is that. Metal is full, a punch in the face, a kick in the gut. That's what metal is. So you're heavy metal. It doesn't matter what you're hearing.
Like a little like sub off of that is like pop punk. So like my sister kind of got me into like Asking Alexandria and Motionless in White and New Year's Day, which they actually did Rhea Ripley's music.
Yeah.
And a lot of those bands. So that was kind of like the closest to metal I've gotten in like my consistent playlist. But I'll listen to Pantera, I'll listen to Metallica from time to time. So
well, how many shows have you come on to give you homework? Not only do you need to check out Hardy, Wait in the Truck, but also Acacia Strain, and there's a song called Cauterizer.
That might be real heavy for her.
Cauterizer. Cauterizer. It's awesome, and it has a accompanying video, and it's just, if you like Walking Dead type of stuff, it's like right up your alley. So 2 songs. Check it out. Get back to us.
Oh yeah, you love horror movies, right? You love the Scream franchise, and
not at all.
There you go. Now Mongrovian's really a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is into horror, let me tell you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I just got done every October. I work with Gateway's Haunted Playhouse to deliver some scares to some lovely patrons. They don't let me beat anything up, but
bummer.
Well, Megan, it was really wonderful talking to you and finding out a little about the face breaker, the red right hand. Please just give us a shout out to all your socials, where people can reach you, where they can buy your merchandise, anything.
Yeah. All my stuff is on Pro Wrestling Tees /Megan Mason. All of my socials, my Twitter is Megan Wrestles, my Instagram is Megan Breaks Faces, and my Facebook, I believe, should be Facebook /Megan Mason.
Facebook's dead anyway. So.
Yeah. Followers on my Megan Facebook. But yeah, I mean, those are the socials, and thank you guys so much for having me. It's really been a great interview.
No,
thank you.
Thank you for coming on with us. I know you were a little hesitant when I first asked you, and you were kind of shy, but
yeah,
I hope you understand. I hope you see and pass it on to the rest of the gang that we got we send out a positive message here, and we're not dirt sheet shit. We have a respect and love for independent wrestling. By the way, we won. Tony, tell us what the award that we won. Even though it's named after our show, but it's in our honor.
Yeah, CCW, they independent wrestling organization out of Delaware. They gave us an award called the Nation's Corner Award, and they're giving awards out every year for people who symbolize what professional wrestling should be like a group of people who just are positive. And they gave it to us this year. And what he's going to do is next year, it's going to be a Nation's Corner award for somebody else that we have to give. So it's going to be like a annual thing, and he named it
Pay it
after us,
forward.
which is pretty cool.
That's
so we're
amazing.
paying it forward. It's
Paying it
awesome.
forward to the independent wrestling community and our respect and love for independent wrestling. You have to enjoy independent wrestling before you see somebody up on the main screen, there on the TV screen. They work a lot of years and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, like you do, and many other wrestlers who, one day you might be lucky and see them, like the Even Stevens getting crushed by Brock Lesnar on TV. You never know.
You have to look
Dr. Cool getting the chair thrown, getting thrown around.
Security guard.
Yeah.
Because that was Steve Azur's job one day. He was signed up for security at, I believe it was Madison Square Garden, and he got punched really nicely by Becky Lynch.
Poor guy.
Oh wow.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Like slow-mo saved on my phone. Just Steve Azur getting punched.
He's a good guy. They're good guys.
That's great. That's great.
Oh boy. Oh.
That I don't know if you guys are familiar with Schlack, but there was a CZW opener one day where it was Schlack running around telling people to get the F up, wake up and just with people. And my sister was so nice to audio clip that, and now that's my alarm in the morning.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, so he's going around. It's time to get up, motherfuckers, and just pull up. And so that's what I wake up to. It's amazing.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
I might need to incorporate that in my alarm clock.
It was great. It was a great cold open for a CZW show. It was really great.
Awesome.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Megan, it was great talking to you for a while. We had a nice 45-minute interview with you.
Yeah.
So we've been shooting, I managed to not flub it and offend you and get you to storm off.
I don't storm off. I just storm forward and beat people up.
There you go.
Hopefully we'll see you, but we'll be there at VPW November 19th. You'll be there in spirit, at least for Cade Lothbrock and Foxy. And Mouse, I'm sure, will be creeping around somewhere in the corners there. So, Megan, thank you once again.
Come back anytime. You're welcome back here anytime.
Anything you need to promote, tag us. We'll help you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank
you. Wow.
That was an awesome interview.
Hell yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
That was great.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Great kid, man. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got a new fan right here. So
absolutely.
Good job, y'all. Good job. We
back to you, Mr. Tony.
Yeah, man. We just had an exclusive interview with Megan Mason, as you heard. Will be released on our channel. As of right now, I don't know when. We'll discuss that at a later time. But we're gonna.
Well, by the time you watch this, it'll already be up there.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you for that. You're trying to call me stupid because I'm wearing a Dallas Cowboys hat? Is that what you're trying to do here? Huh? Okay. Anyway, for Mongrovian Mike, for Debhausen, this is Tony Justice saying so long, and we'll see you when we see you. Ooh, yeah.